Alright guys, so today I want to give you a complete movement guide on how to navigate around Warzone 2 and pretty much get the most movement in this game. Now unfortunately they don't have a private mode for here, so it's kind of get away from the distractions. I turned the audio all the way down, and I guess I'll try to land somewhere that nobody will really go. Before we do all that too, I want to remind you guys that you need to make sure that you're landing on really high places. Not only is high ground important for gunfights, but you could also get more of a visual to be able to see more of the map. And if you're jumping downwards, as far as dolphin divings or gliding downwards, that's going to help you move around the map more, so you're going to be able to have a lot more movement and be able to get to other places very fast. Unfortunately, my mic keeps cutting out in this video, which is really annoying, but what I was trying to say in this part is that moving building to building is very important, because if you can keep moving building to building, it's so much easier for me to escape those people if I can just like dolphin dive like here off of this rooftop and then continue into a downward motion. The more times you're going into a downward motion, you're going to get a lot more velocity, momentum, speed. Even if you want to push people, like okay, let's just say enemies are over there. Well, instead of going around back and making a huge circle, if you push towards the people going in a downward momentum, then that's going to give you as much distance closed as possible to be able to chase somebody over there. Another thing you really got to keep in mind in this game is that you should be using your pistol a lot more than the last Warzone. So right now I have a pistol and a shotgun, and even if I found an assault rifle in this area, I would still keep my pistol. So let's just say I find, just pistol right there. If I find like an SMG, I'm getting rid of the shotgun and I'm using the pistol, because the pistol has one of the fastest mobilities in the game to make sure that you're able to run around a lot. Because if you're using an SMG or two assault rifles or something weird, you're not going to be able to run around the map fast enough than if you use a pistol. And this thing that I'm doing right here is the new thing that I do instead of the slide cancel. So like I jump around like this, then I like aim, crouch, and then jump. So it's run around, aim, crouch, jump, and I do this multiple times while looking left and right. So that helps me shift my momentum into one direction like this while I'm able to look around. So I'm going like this. Maybe I could do it backwards. And I keep regaining tack sprint over and over. Now, yes, you can do a regular punch like this and keep moving forward. I explained why I didn't like doing that in the last video, because you get a moment where you just pause and then you move forward and you can't shoot anybody while you're doing that. And it just feels really uncomfortable. So that's why I do that. So look, an example for me diving off, like I'm just running around the map. I can dive off over here. Sometimes it's a lot better to dolphin dive over places instead of just doing a regular glide with your parachute, because if you do that, you're more vulnerable and it's harder for you to get out and shoot somebody. So a little hill right here, dive, immediately get up, and then I can go back to that rhythm of just aiming down like this. There's a downward place I could dive a little bit like that, maybe rotate my body, and then just keep moving. Oh, people. So I have a gulag right now, and kind of what I was talking about as far as the downward motion using your pistols, I'm going to kind of do that right here to kind of demonstrate how I would win the gulag while doing that type of movement. I want to take the high ground to the right.
And they're like, oh, the guy's a real guy.
Gives me the most movement. I'm doing the move where I'm jumping around and looking. I see him right there.
He's dead.
Oh,
shit.
Yep.
HCR, bro.
Right there.
Sheesh.
I cracked him.
Things behind me. Oh dang, that's not him. Where's the enemy? Bro, what? I couldn't find where the enemy was. Another thing I want to talk about in this game is mantle hopping. That's pretty much the term that I call it, but instead of mantling and doing the animation where you jump over something and leaves you vulnerable, you jump through the window or whatever obstacle while timing it so that you don't have any loss of movement while you're doing that animation. So you want to cut the animation completely. Right here, I would just jump through it like this. And if I was to jump back into this window, I'd probably do something like this, where I just go straight in like that, and you don't mantle on top of it. This is a bad way. If I do this, go over, do this, maybe on top of here, right? I would jump up and do this. That's all bad ways because they keep leaving you vulnerable. So you want to limit the amount of stuff that you mantle onto. And sometimes I like get on top of multiple things, like kind of like this. So now I'm able to go all the way up here without mantling one time, without doing one mantle animation. And then I'm jumping constantly like this. So that helps me keep my momentum and rhythm while I'm constantly jumping on top of stuff over and over and over. Right here we have some water. There's a lot of times water has really saved me in this game. There's a lot of rivers where if you're getting shot at, you can just deep dive into there. And there's even times where the enemy's not that far behind me and I jumped in the water and I was able to escape all the way down there without them killing me. Even though they were so close to killing me, they had a bunch of snipers, assault rifles, and that's pretty much because I dolphin dive straight into the water like this. You don't take any damage, or you take some damage, but it's not that much where it can kill you. And you keep your head all the way down, keep yourself sunk underwater over and over and over until your character starts doing this, where he's like about to suffocate. And once he does that, you get up for like maybe 2 seconds, immediately go back down. Heartbeat comes back up, go up a little bit. And then you're getting really far away, so now you can like afford to breathe a little bit more because they're gonna be missing a lot of their shots, and you go straight down. So keep in mind too, if you're near any rivers where there's water right here, and maybe you're the last one in the squad, your entire team died and they're chasing you, try your best to get near river and then dive straight into it. So once you dive, you don't lose any momentum, any movement, and you can easily just keep going underwater further and further, over and over and over. And keep in mind too that for people to shoot while they're in water, they have to be all the way up top right here to be able to shoot like that. So let's just say the entire team wanted to chase you and kill you in the water. They're not going to be able to shoot you because you're going to be underwater most of the time. So for them to actually see you, they have to be underwater chasing you the entire time. Them being above water and chasing you isn't really going to do much because as soon as you pop up, you're only going to pop up for a few seconds and go right back down. So every single time you go down, you're healing, regaining your health, and it's really hard to kill somebody while they're deep underwater moving over and over and over. I just went from that bridge right here all the way to right here in that exact second that I was talking to you guys. So that's how far of movement you can get with water and be able to move across the map really fast. I'm going to talk right now a little bit about sliding. I don't really slide at all. Sometimes I do, but usually if I see some downhills, then I like to slide just to keep some momentum and keep everything fluent. But like, if I was going to jump over here and slide down here, that's perfectly fine as long as you're sliding down something. If I was to dolphin dive just straight down here, it might not be as smooth, or maybe the hill could be way too steep where I might die for some reason. So if I just slide down here, that's perfectly fine because you keep your rhythm and your momentum just like you would in Modern Warfare 2019. If I was to slide regular like this, it's like a dead slide where it doesn't really give me any advantage at all. So you never want to slide when you're running regular. I know it was a big thing in the past, but it's not going to work at all in this game. It just doesn't feel smooth or anything. Another cool thing in this game too is that you can actually dolphin dive on top of objects that are not super high and still keep your momentum. If you ever see an opportunity where you see something or an obstacle that's like maybe lower than your chest level, like maybe this, or if I jump right here and dolphin dive over that, you can see how I keep the momentum. See right there, I kept the momentum perfectly. So like I hopped up as soon as I moved over there, and how I would usually stop on the ground before I hop up, I kind of was stopping on the ground to the game. Like I was stopping the ground in the air, but I was hopping up while I was still in a continuous motion. So the game thinks that you're slowing down and stopping because that's what the game wants you to do, but you're actually doing that while you're moving at the same exact time, so it keeps your momentum. There, I did it again. I feel like I get a better time doing it when I do it sideways. So I'm gonna do it again. Sideways. Sometimes you get dead dolphin dives like that. There you go, did it again. So it's like multiple objects. Maybe I can do it to that? Oh, I did it! I did it! So yeah, like you can see, there's multiple things in this game where you can do that too, where it's really gonna help you get that little bit of distance to, you know, escape people who are chasing you, maybe catch up to some people, maybe escape the storm. So if you guys watch any good player enough, or even watch me enough, you see that a lot of times players like to swing their cameras like this. They just swing it. And people do it without really thinking. Sometimes they don't know why they do it, but I'm going to kind of explain in depth a little bit more of why they do it now in case you didn't already know. So when players swing their camera like this, they just look left and right. And some people are like, oh, well, what about centering? You know, you want to center onto a wall. Why are you looking left and right like this super fast? What does that do? Well, pretty much when you run up and you jump and look to the side, that gathers your momentum, and as soon as you jump and look like left or right, you're kind of moving the left analog stick to the right or to the left, and that shifts all the speed that you gathered into one direction. So I'm still moving at a really good speed in this direction, the direction over here, while I'm looking left, while I'm looking right. And that allows me to check multiple areas or even aim on somebody while I'm still moving in the direction that I want to go. So when people look left and right like this all the time, most of the time it's not because they want to look cool or look like they're super fast or just flex their sensitivity or anything. It's because they want to shift their momentum to be able to jump left and right. I'm shifting it this way, I'm shifting it that way. Sometimes people don't care about going to a certain distance. Instead of just shifting it this way to cover this location right here, sometimes they zigzag because they want to shift their momentum left and right to not get shot by snipers. So there's also that too. But looking in one direction, gathering your speed, immediately jumping and looking in another direction is going to shift your momentum while you're able to look at more places at once. So overall, this is the Warzone 2 movement guide that I wanted to gear towards this specific game. Now, if you want to see more tips on how to get better movement overall, then I've made movement videos in the past, or how to get better speed and other videos like that, just off of the mechanics of this game. This video was intended for some things that are specifically geared towards Warzone. So if you're looking for any other things, or you feel like I haven't covered a lot of other topics, I probably cover them in another video, or I probably have more tips that are better suited for other game modes in other videos. But this video, I wanted to kind of go over just small things that are going to help increase your movement overall in Warzone 2, and just to help you get a better experience overall and not feel super sluggish like most people would complain about in this game.